this was exciting news to wake up to this morning. Here it is, reported on Bloomberg. Elon Musk takes 9.2% stake in Twitter after hinting at shakeup. Tesla CEO has regularly questioned Silicon Valley giants. Twitter shares post biggest intraday surge since IPO in 2013. Let me read a little bit from the story because I think it's a happy story. What do you think? Elon Musk took a 9.2% stake in Twitter Inc. to become the platform's biggest shareholder, a week after hinting he might shake up the social media industry. Twitter shares surged as much as 27% after Musk's purchase was revealed Monday in a regulatory filing. The gain marked the stock's biggest intraday increase since its first day of trading following the company's 2013 initial public offering. The stake is worth about $2.89 billion based on Friday's market close. Musk, 50, polled his more than 80 million followers on Twitter last month, asking them whether the company adheres to the principles of free speech. After more than 70% said no, he asked whether a new platform was needed and said he was giving serious thought to starting his own. Well, he's got enough dough either way, but I think there are enough startup competitors to Twitter already. Getter, Gab, Parler, Trump's own Truth Social. There's a ton of them, but they all lack one thing that Twitter has, the market leader, the place where everyone already is. A lot of those are, other sites are dedicated to catering to conservatives, which I appreciate because conservatives have been censored. We have been here, deplatformed, but that's not the same as the public square then, where everyone goes in the middle of town, right? That's a ghetto, a private club. What I like about being on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and the others is that people who don't agree with me, they can interact with me and vice versa. How do you ever convert anyone to your point of view? How do you ever have a debate? Have you ever an interesting discussion? How do you ever make a new friend if you're only ever talking to your existing friends or political fellow travelers? Plus, I think it's fun bantering and heckling some liberals, including prime ministers and presidents. Fun to meet new people. And by the way, you don't actually have to hate every liberal you meet. I don't know if I've told you this before, but I have one liberal friend. I'm not going to say his name to protect him, not to protect him from conservatives who would be mean from him. I don't think they would be, but to protect him from liberals who would be mean to him for being my friend. Twitter calls itself the public square. They use that phrase, and it's true. Now, that might change one day, but for now, it is the place, especially for public politics. And now Elon Musk is the biggest owner of it. Not enough to commandeer the ship just yet, not yet, but this could just be the first step. I'm not sure what the press reports mean by saying it's a passive stake. When I read the SEC filings, there was nothing really that said passive about it. Those are voting shares. Elon Musk has been thinking about Twitter for a while, I should tell you. He has more than 80 million followers online himself. He's one of its biggest users. I think he obviously uses it to talk about his businesses, including Tesla and the SpaceX rocket ship company, but he also uses it for fun, almost in a silly way. In fact, I would say he's quite silly. He tweets out jokes or visual jokes in the form of memes, as the kids say. I think Elon Musk is really entertaining, not as combative as Trump, but just as much fun. I think it's a reason why he's liked by so many people. Look at this tweet, by the way. This is from Musk a few months back. This is in December when Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, left and someone named Parag Agrawal took over from Jack Dorsey. That is a Stalinist picture, obviously replacing faces with Agrawal and with Jack Dorsey, disappearing a political rival by removing him from an old photograph. They did that a lot in the Soviet Union. Long before Photoshop, they would just cut out persona non grata from photos. Here's what Musk was worried about. The new boss of Twitter is a censor. And he really doesn't care who knows. I've told you this before. Here's a New York Post story summing it up. In a 2018 interview, Agrawal said Twitter should focus less on thinking about free speech, but thinking about how the times have changed, where our role is particularly emphasized is who can be heard, he went on. And so increasingly our role is moving towards how we recommend content, how we direct people's attention. Just to translate in plain English, what he means is you can have all the free speech you like on Twitter, but Twitter will decide whether anyone hears you. If anyone's allowed to see what you have to say, you'll be muffled. You'll think you're talking to the world, but you're just talking and no one else is hearing you. Twitter will block that, whereas the new favored people, that is, think-alike leftists, will have their voices boosted, recommended. Boosted is a phrase they use, so everyone gets the right to speak, but Twitter will decide who is heard. It's about the least free thing you could ever say or do. That's an excerpt from my daily show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.